on the ground, going to create, as I said, a $10 billion facility. Pangea is building in effect, floating LNG plant. It will be built on a ship, a specially designed ship that costs about $1.5 billion, being built in Korea. They've already built one of those that's going to be stationed off Israel, and this will be the second one. So you can see the opportunities that are here. There's a third plant that's going to do LPG and other gases, and that was a former naval base that reverted to the Port of Corpus Christi when the U.S. government closed Naval Station Ingleside back in 2010. And we were the beneficiaries of receiving that base because it had been built on port land and we had a reversionary agreement. We recently, as recent as November, sold that property to Occidental Petroleum. Oxy is taking that facility. There are already docks and facilities on, and going to be doing LPG and other products there. They'll probably be up and running by the end of this year. So there's just in one section of our port 3 different facilities that are directly related to what's going on with Eagleford, creating a lot of jobs in Corpus Christi, supporting the jobs up here, and also supporting the port. Harbor Island is another site. That's really on the right-hand side there. That's the ship channel down the middle. The right-hand side is Port Aransas. The left side, where you see the open area, is where the Port Aransas ferry goes across. I'm sure a lot of you have taken that trip. And the land immediately to the left is what we call Harbor Island. It used to be a tank farm for Exxon and FINA. Well, they got out of that business with that tank farm about 15 years ago. We ended up getting ownership of it. Along with them and the Texas Railroad Commission, we've cleaned it up, and now we're going to turn it back, and it's going to be a facility again for Eagleford. We're in the process of putting that out for bid, and that should happen by the end of the summer. I mentioned the pipe plant. TPCO stands for Tianjin Pipe Company. Tianjin is a city of about 8 million people in China, about 90 miles from Beijing to the east. It's a major port for northern China. As ports go, I think it's the 4th biggest in China, but it's bigger than anything in the United States. It's incredible. Anyway, Tianjin has a very modern facility where they build oil and gas pipe. They started looking about 7 years ago for a location in the U.S., picked this site. They actually picked it before any of us knew about Eagleford, so they were more than fortunate with this site. They're under construction right now, have the first phase of that done by the end of the year, and will eventually be manufactured with an electric arc furnace, oil and gas pipe at that site, and that will benefit, again, Eagleford. They'll be able to reduce the price of oil and gas pipe because their logistics and their transportation cost is going to be a lot less. Just some spin-offs. M&G is it says it at the top, it's kind of cut off there. M&G is an Italian PET manufacturer, PET and PTA. That's plastic bottles, injection molded plastic bottles. This is a $1.3 billion plant. They just bought the land for that in November. Going through their air quality permit right now, start construction later this year. 2 of the reasons they picked this site over all the others they looked at is, one is, which we talk about a lot and is a big issue here, is transportation, especially rail. That site has 3 railroads, KCS, Burlington Northern, and Union Pacific. They wanted to have access into Mexico, and they wanted access on the 2 western railroads wherever they went. The other thing was gas. And a lot of the companies that we talk about that. It's not necessarily just the price of natural gas, although everybody loves that's in that industry right now, but it's the stability of natural gas in the United States, the stability of the political system. We've talked to other entities from Europe and other locations that are very concerned about their natural gas flow being cut off from Russia or other ports to the east, where here they don't worry about that. We think, and we do have a lot of problems, but when it comes to a stable industry and a stable workforce, they're very, not just satisfied, that's why they picked these locations. Final point, started out with talking about this, about the South Texas Triangle, and we've been working actually without knowing we were doing this at the Port of Corpus Christi for a long time with Laredo and San Antonio. And we formalized something last year when we saw that we really weren't competitors, we were complementing each other. So the Laredo Chamber of Commerce, Port San Antonio and Port Corpus Christi formed what was a working group for a long time into something more formal, and it's called START, South Texas Alliance for Regional Trade. It's a working level group. You may have seen the banners in the booth out here. We've been working with Laredo. Well, I've been at the port for 19 years, and when I got there, we actually shared an office with Laredo in Monterey. We used to have a joint office between Corpus Christi and Laredo and Monterey and shared everything that we did there. We still do those type of efforts with Laredo.